morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, look, Phantasmal Flames is coming, and the Japanese equivalent set Inferno X has been fully revealed, and there's a few cards we've yet to have a look at from that set. And frankly, I think we should probably have a look at the missing cards in that set now, shouldn't we? There are some very interesting cards coming around here, ones we need to have a little bit of a look at. So let's start off with a bit of a fire theme. Let's start off with Reshiram. Basic Pokemon, 130 HP, single energy, 30 damage. Which, to be fair, isn't terrible. If you're up against a deck playing things like Badoo or Joltik, and there are a bunch of decks like that out there, this will actually be a relevant attack that will get you a KO, yay, etc. But what we've also got here is 4 energy, 240 damage, and this Pokemon does 60 to itself. Now, generally speaking, you look at an attack that takes 4 energy and you go, well, nah. Not loving it, not into it. Not a fan. This isn't for me. Most of the time, I would agree with that. Not here, ladies and gentlemen. Not here. Because we've got ways to get the energy on. Like, for instance, in this very set, where we get Oricorio. And what Oricorio does is lets you attach as much energy as you like, fire energy, from your hand to your benched fire Pokemon. But you've got to have a Fire Mega Pokemon EX in play. That's it. That's the trade-off. If you've got a Fire Mega Pokemon EX in play, you can attach as much energy as you like to your bench Fire Pokemon from your hand. Now, we do have an option here for Charizard, but I think probably a lot of the time the better option is going to be Camerupt, just because Camerupt's a stage 1 rather than a stage 2. So you need your basic Oricorio, not asking that much. We need your stage 1 Camerupt, it's not asking that much. And then you add all of that up together and you're like, oh, now I can attach as much energy as I like. And I'm doing 240 on a single prize Pokemon. Now this might be the part of the video where you go, wassy, wassy, wassy. What about getting all the energy in my hand? Fire Breather. Let's you search for 7 basic fire energy. You're going to be fine, ladies and gentlemen. This one could genuinely actually work. But if you want another fire Pokemon that's doing a huge amount of damage, might I suggest a little bit of the old Ceruledge. Single energy, 220 damage, but you got to discard 4 basic fire energy from your hand. If you don't, this attack does nothing. This might be the star of the set. This might legitimately be one of the best cards in the entire set. Firstly, I just mentioned Fire Breather. So you get this out, you play Fire Breather, you get 7 basic fire in hand, 1 gets attached to Ceruledge, and you've got 6 in hand, so you've got the 4 you need to discard. Job's a good un. But this is the part where we remember about Ceruledge EX. And this is about the best combination we could possibly ask for. Because Ceruledge EX, what does it really need? Energy in the discard pile. Single energy, 30 damage, plus 20 more for each energy in the discard pile. And we got Fire Breather to search all the energy out. So you start off with your Ceruledge, dumping energy in the discard while doing 220 damage, which I assure you in the early game is going to be fine. It's not going to be enough for the whole game. Not saying it is. But in the early game, 220 is going to be good. Then you discard all your energy. Oh, look. Now Ceruledge EX comes in to clean up. You can be 2-hit KOing in the early games. You're a single prize Pokemon. By the time you need those big giant 1-hit KOs to end the game, Ceruledge EX is here to give those big giant KOs to end the game. Adore this. Might be the best card in the set. At least one of them. Now there is a new Pawmot coming along. We like Pawmot. It self-damages very much like Reshiram. And what we got here, it is a stage 2, which is a pain. But 2 lightning energy, which isn't very much. And you can deal 60 to yourself to paralyze your opponent's active. Automatic paralysis is not something Pokemon let us get away with very often. Because unless you can switch out of it, you can't attack, you can't retreat, you can't do much of anything. So you got to have a switch or where to pick your Pokemon up or something like that. It is a very annoying thing with which to have to contend. Well, yeah. And here, you can deal 60 to yourself, you got 80 left. You can deal 60 to yourself, you got 20 left. You can legit 3 turns in a row paralyze with Pawmot here and leave your opponent in a terrible situation. Love this. Big fan. Absolutely one which I could see being fun. But it is a stage 2, and I'll be honest with you, that is a bit of a pain. If you'd rather go basic, how about Survivor? A card I really want to love. Because what we've got here is free energy 120. That's obviously terrible. But if you got a Darkness type Mega Pokemon in play, this Pokemon's attacks deal 120 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's 120, but it's actually 220 if you have a Darkness type Mega Pokemon in play. Oh. Yet this we can work with. In this set, we've got Mega Sharpedo, which we like very much indeed. Don't forget that we did have Mega Gengar, which is coming around in its own deck, but it's still very much a thing. It's a Mega Pokemon, so that is an option. And remember, Mega Gengar's got an ability which says your Darkness-type Pokemon give up 1 less prize when KO'd by a Mega EX. That's pretty good. Or maybe I remind you about the new Grimsley card, which says you can look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and if you find a Darkness-type Pokemon there, you can just play it. You don't need it to be a basic. Whatever it is, whatever stage it is, you can just play it straight away. But we do also have a basic Darkness Mega Pokemon. It is Absol. It's the best thing about it is a 2 energy. If there's exactly 6 damage counters on the defending Pokemon, instant KO. Doesn't necessarily perfectly combo with Survivor, I'll be honest with ya. But if you want a Mega Darkness Pokemon with which to combine it, there's one that you can use. The energy kind of gets me though. We don't have great Darkness type energy acceleration right now, at least generally speaking. Now don't get me wrong, we've got End's PP up, but that is for End's Pokemon, not generally. We got Marnie's Grimmsnarl, but that's for Marnie's Pokemon, not generally. And yeah, I know we can switch energy over and all of that. That's not the point I'm making here. The point I'm making is we don't have quite good enough stuff here. And I'm sorry. I wish we had slightly better energy acceleration. Still a very interesting Pokemon and one I've got my eye on though. And certainly if we get good Darkness type energy acceleration in the future, this is gonna get better. While we're talking about basic Pokemon, how about Genesect? Free energy 100, nobody cares. But 1 grass energy, minimum. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, and this attack does 20 damage to that Pokemon for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. Venusaur. Venusaur is where we're going here, Mega Venusaur, because Mega Venusaur lets you move all your grass energy around the field as you like. So move it all over onto Genesect and do big damage onto the bench. Love it. And of course, we've always got Teal'c's Gogapon to get the energy into play. Grass I'm not worried about because we've got a good way to accelerate to one Pokemon and then an easy way to move it around. We are golden. Second attack, nah mate, it's terrible. First attack, however, I can get behind this first attack. You know what else I can get behind? Archaludon. 180 HP on a single prizer. Yes, that's good. And then free metal energy, 120 damage. But during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic Pokemon. And this is a very situational kind of card, right? If your opponent is playing a bunch of good evolutions, this is terrible. If they're playing an all basic deck, and there are decks out there playing all basic decks, I'm looking at you, Raging Bolt, then yeah, in that situation, this becomes a much, much better option. If you find a deck that is only playing basics, this is awesome. If you're playing against decks that play more than that, no, it's not going to be good enough. I might buy you some time here and there. It only gives up one prize. But mostly it's for shutting down basic decks. And remember, our Chaludon EX accelerates energy, so we're not worried about getting the energy on here. We are going to be absolutely fine. Really like this card. Very situational. But in the situations where it fits, it's brilliant. But we do also have a new stadium, and this new stadium's kind of absurd. It's called Battle Coliseum, and it says, prevent all damage counters from being placed on bench Pokemon, that's yours and your opponent's, by the effects of the attacks or abilities used by your opponent's Pokemon. Damage from attacks is not prevented, but damage counters are stopped by attacks and abilities. And there's a couple of really relevant ones here. If you're looking at attacks, Dragapult. Dragapult's 2 energy 200 is not that good. 2 energy 200 and you drop 6 damage counters? Yes. Absolutely brilliant attack. One of the best attacks in the game. But you take away the 6 damage counters, you got 2 energy 200. That is nowhere near as good. And sure, they can on their turn replace the stadium, but now they've got to think about either removing or replacing the stadium before they can launch a good Phantom Dive. In terms of abilities, Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory moves damage counters, but it moves it from one to another. It places damage counters. Monkey Dory is one of the best cards in the game right now, and this has got to be one of the main things that Pokemon are thinking about when they're printing this card. All of a sudden, Monkey Dory's not placing damage counters. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Now, it can still move to the active. Remember, this stadium only protects the bench. It doesn't stop you placing damage counters on the active. Okay. Expect this to be a very, very, very relevant card. And this is very deliberate, right? The whole point of this is that the card designers have looked and thought, oh, there's a couple of cards getting a little bit too good. Let's print this card to slow them down. It's very deliberate, but make no mistake about it, this is awesome. Also, as a fun little rule inquiry, because this has come up before, when it comes to Monkey Dory, you can still move the damage counters off. You just cannot place them, so they essentially just disappear. You can use Monkey Dory to heal 3 damage counters. The ruling is you can move them off, but you cannot place them. They go away. How cool is that? So there we go. That's what you need to know. There's all the new cards, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel, like the lovely Andrew Kincaid, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. I say seems to be, I've met them several times. They are indeed very lovely. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.